Hey everyone, welcome to Crushing Classical, redefining a thriving classical music career. I'm Tracy Friedlander, welcoming you to Hot Seat number 6, Part 2, Amanda Chavis, a conversation to pursue and implement Plan A. Amanda Chavis is in the hot seat, exploring a course she created and wants to sell. Picking up where we left off after Part 1, Amanda pinpoints what the outcome of her course will be for her participants. Eileen also shows Amanda how to implement and then sell her course, and the logistics that go into that process. Before we start, a couple of quick things. Please join the conversation at facebook.com/crushingclassical, as well as Crushing Classical on Instagram. If you love what you see, it would mean the world to us if you would comment on the posts and share them with your classical musician friends and colleagues. And if you haven't done it yet, join our Facebook group, Classical Cats. We continue the conversation inside the group on the topics we talk about on our episodes. You can join us at facebook.com/groups/crushingclassical. Let's get started.
Is what you and I talked about a little earlier about the outcome of the course, is that reflected right now? In other words, the only thing, I want you to get this, the only thing your course has to do is what it said it would do. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to say that again because you need to hear what I said. The only thing a course needs to do is what you said it would do. Mm-hmm. So what you're going to measure it on is how it feels to you and whether it has everything in it that I want it to have, because you're a feeler. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to help you understand is commerce is not about how you feel, sweetheart. Mm-hmm. It's about whether or not you delivered what you said you would deliver. So does it or not? Mm-hmm. Have a look.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay. So in its current state, does it do that or not? Does it deliver? Does it pack a punch? And does it deliver at the end what you said, which is you will have made a concrete decision about what your next move is and what the action steps are to execute on that. Does it deliver that right now? Yes or no?
It does. Because at the end it's goals and like here's your like make your plan, like here's your next 90 days.
Okay, yeah. So it's different. Okay, so and by the way, if you can do a 90-day plan, but what you really want to give people actually is more like a 30-day plan because people can't even see past a month. I don't know if you know that. They can't. Like people start to, if I told Tracy that she had to clean, she has this cabinet in her house that has papers in it and they need to be organized and she hates it.
I hate paper.
You don't mind that I'm telling you about this, Tracy?
No.
So she hates it. And if I told her that she needed to organize it over the next 90 days, she would have a little mini meltdown.
I would wait till day 89.
That's right. That's right. And that's what you have to know about people is they can't handle it. And so as far as the action steps go, for them to create for the next week, for the next 2 weeks, for the next 3 weeks, for the next month. And here's why, because in most cases, they will need you on or before day 30 again. Mm-hmm. And then there's what's next that they can do with you. Mm-hmm. There might be another level. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That totally makes sense.
Okay, so just consider that because if you give them a 90-day plan, they don't need you anymore, sweetie.
Yeah.
Don't do that to your bank account. What are you doing?
Yeah, that makes sense. So what do you do when somebody has like this big goal? Is it just kind of like this is the piece that you're going to complete in the next 30 days or something?
Yeah. So in other words, if there's like give me an example of like one of these 3 gals that did the beta version.
Yeah.
Give me an example of one of the the outcomes they created. Just give me, I don't need her name or anything, but give me one of the things she said she wanted to do.
One of them was she wanted to create a vlog.
A vlog. Okay, for what purpose?
She really resonated with a phrase that I had used in there just as an example, like to launch yourself into the spotlight. And so she was like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm aiming for. Like I want to put myself out there. So she wanted to create a vlog to just kind of start this kind of social presence and get out there and get seen and get followers.
Okay, and the purpose of the vlog is for her to get seen as a performer?
Yeah.
Okay. So what she would have to do, so what would be the goal then so this is what you're going to help people do. If that's her, let's say she made that decision, I'm going to start a vlog, but at the end of the 30 days, there has to be, the end of the the action plan that they create for themselves, at the end of that first 30 days, there has to be something tangible that they've created. So if she wanted to create a blog, what would be the tangible at the end of her 30 days of action that she created?
The vlog? Do you mean tangible like you can touch it, or tangible like this, like in internet land? Because the first thing I would say was like she would have a vlog up there.
That's
or
correct.
like
She would have a vlog, right? So she would have. I'm just going to give an example. She would have a vlog up. She would have. I'm making this up. Like she can decide what her action steps are, but in 30 days, and this is what you would coach her through or walk her through in your course is okay. So you're going to create your 30-day action plan. And by the way, give me a first name. I don't care if it's her first name. Let's call her Karen. How about that? Let's call her Karen. Okay, so Karen. So you're going to create an action plan for the next 30 days. So we know at the end of your 30-day action plan, what do we know? She's going to say, I'm going to have a vlog up. Correct. It's going to be online. So what do you need for that to happen? Let's work backwards, right? So, okay, well, I need hosting, and maybe I need a logo. Maybe I need 5 videos up, right? So there's certain tangibles that go with that. That's what I mean by tangibles. Gotcha. Those are tangibles, like you can see them, you can touch them, you can smell them, you can taste them, you can something. Like they are tangible. A feeling, I feel successful, is not tangible.
Yeah.
A tangible is there's a laptop in front of me. There's books on my desk, right? There's a phone to my right, right? Tangibles. There's a website online. So that's what I mean by tangibles.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? And so,
yeah.
But it's so much easier for them to come up with what their 30-day plan. And listen, at the close of the thing, they may be creating their action plan, and they're going to be like, I don't want to do this by myself. And you're like, no problem. I have level 2, and you can get involved with me at level 2, so that I'll do your 30-day plan with you. I'll execute it with you, or whatever that looks like. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, what is my point? My point is that you're teaching lessons right now. And we just got done creating something that you can sell now. Like there are people who are watching Classically Trained. I mean, you've got a podcast, you've got a page. There are people who are watching you right now who would, if you invited them, would love to get on a discovery call with you and see if this program be right. By the end of next week, like today is Thursday, by the end of this next week, you could have 5 people enrolled in this, and you could quit teaching.
This is the silence of like mind. All right. So what do you do in the discovery call? What do you suggest for that?
Well, actually, I'd like to know what you suggest, expert. Expert. What would you want to know on that call to see if somebody was right for a program like this?
I would want to know that they'd be willing to do the work, and that they would be open to what I have, because some of it might be like outside of the realm of what they've come across before. I would.
What do they? Let me ask you this: what do they need to want in order to get on a call with you?
Something to happen in their lives, change, something like.
What's the outcome? Okay, you're close. What's the outcome again of your program?
Oh, to create the. No, I can't remember the words you use. I want to steal them. I like them, but those words.
Well, don't worry. You'll get a recording of this.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Tracy can send you the recording like right away if you want.
Okay. They need to want that. They need to want the thing that they want. But what if they don't know what their goal is yet? Like, what if they're like, I know that I need this, but I don't know what's coming of it.
Well, puppy, that's what your 5-week course is for.
Well, I know, but then so why am I asking them?
Well, see, that's what a discovery call is they're just now exploring something that they haven't allowed themselves to consider, just like you didn't allow yourself to consider it.
Right. So
they're getting on the phone for the first time, and they're having an experience with you where they're actually allowed for the first time to explore something they actually want. Do you know how many people have a broken wanter? They've stopped wanting things.
I don't know how many people have that.
A lot.
Why is that?
A lot. life gets you down. Things happen, then you start going, I can't have that. And then who you become is, I can't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So you start having experience that says you can't, and then you become, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Because life just gets you down that way. We've all been there, right? You've even been there a few times, right? You just, you manage to dig yourself out. Probably a lot of it has to do with your inner work and also hiring a life coach.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you got in a street fight with yourself about it. But believe it or not, there are a lot of people who are not getting in street fights about that. They're just sitting at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm just
no.
It is, right?
Yeah.
And so this is what's so great about you, is that you give people permission. You give musicians permission for the first time to consider that it's okay to want something more, something else, something different. And you invite them onto a call to explore that. And in that call, they're beginning to explore that. And you say, and this is what I'd like to invite you on a longer journey, a 5-week journey called Beyond the Notes. Make sense? So so a discovery call is the beginning of the journey. And then there's an invitation. Would you like to come on more of a journey? Would you like to come on even more of a journey? Like, come with me for 5 weeks and I will help you. And by the end of it, you will have made a decision about what direction you want to go. And you will have a 30-day, you will create an action plan for yourself, a tangible action plan, and you will know what to do next when you're out. Who's not going to buy that?
Yeah, I would.
You would, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. And so so as far as the discovery call goes, you put it out there and or do you reach out to specific people?
I'll tell you what, if you want to sell people right away, I would reach out to people who you have a sense are in this place, people who've commented on your posts, like people who are engaged with you on your posts, people who've sent you messages, private messages. I'm sure you've gotten some. We get them all the time. In fact, that's how most people communicate with us. It's hilarious. Nobody seems to like the comment field on Facebook. So,
right.
the Messenger is where it's at. But, and I'm laughing, but I think it's funny because, there's nothing wrong with being public, right? But people are probably private message you. There's probably people in your life in Dallas who people you went to school with. I mean, it's really about you reaching out and saying, it's really you saying, okay, I'm going to enroll 5 to 10 people, just pick a number. I'm going to enroll 5 to 10 people into my program, and I'm going to do it by whatever date. And you get to work on that, and you have that replace your teaching income, and you go into that school, and you give notice, and you walk. That's it. Because I promise you, this is not going to happen someday in the future. This is going to happen when you say this is going to happen, and this is by when it's going to happen. Because you don't need to wait. You're absolutely qualified to teach this course. If you're waiting for someone to tell you you're qualified, here I am. You're qualified.
Yeah, no, I guess the stall has just kind of been that, wanting to put more into it and refine it. But, you have to start with something.
Feel good about it. Because you want to feel good about it. And I want you to know it's great that you want to feel good about it. But what you have to know is, and no disrespect to anyone, everyone just has to get this when you listen to this hot seat, is you don't have to create an A+ level course. When a course first goes out or a program first goes out, B-, C+ is good enough because the feedback you get from it will improve it.
Right.
How you improve your work is by feedback.
Yep, that makes sense.
It's not going to come from you. I mean, you did the best you could do with it, and then other people will help you do better with it. So let them.
Yeah. Oh,
Let them. Their feedback will be invaluable to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So
I'm totally in agreement. I'm on the exact same page.
Okay, good. So should we make a game?
I listened to that episode.
We should do a game. What do you think?
When Eileen asks you to play a game, it might be chess on the top of a mountain.
Oh, that's right. And the board might be on the tip of the mountain, and it might be toppling.
And it has to balance.
That's right. And you have to hang off the side with no straps and move the chest.
Oh my goodness. I like these kind of games though. I'm ready.
Okay, so let's play a game.
Okay.
So, first of all, what is the outcome of the game?
To get this, well, replace the income, I think.
Okay, good. So, all right. So, have you decided the price yet?
Okay, honest. Originally, I was thinking 150, but honestly, I think it's worth more than that.
Okay, so let's not think about what it's worth. Let's think about what people will pay for it.
Okay.
So what do you think?
So I was thinking 150 to start with.
Okay, you want to do 150. Now, you know how much income you need to replace, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and I don't want to reveal this on the podcast on this call because this is private information. We don't share this stuff. So don't say it out loud, but I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. So if the course is 150, it's for 5 weeks. I want you to write down how many courses you need to sell in order to replace the flute teacher income. Don't tell me the number, just write it down. There's certain things that you don't tell the public, and everybody should know this. There's certain things you just don't say. If you decide to be a business that tells everybody how much you make and that's great. That's fine. That's what the guy from Smart Passive Income does. He tells everybody how much he makes every month, and he's very honest about it. That's great. But a lot of people, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you don't have to. So do you know what that number is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So given that number, now I want you to say by what date you will have that number of people enrolled in the course.
This is the part that I always stall on.
I know, I get it.
Yeah. Okay, what's today?
Today's Thursday.
24th.
17th.
Okay, so now I always tell me this, because I always am like, okay, well, push yourself, like make yourself, but be realistic. So what's the balance there?
Well, okay, so I want you to think about, first of all, you want to know what the number is, because after you come up with the number, now you're going to think about all the people you can contact who are prospects for you.
Okay.
Because that's going to be the most likely buyers, the people you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
You can get on the phone with and have this conversation and walk. Okay. So that's why you want to know what that number is. So given that number, think about the people you know. Is the number of people you can talk to or a number of people you know personally, does it match that number?
I think with also like the recommendations from the people who went through it. Yeah.
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 Referrals.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you make it?
I think I can reach out to that many people. Let's see. Well, by the end of the month, that's a week.
Okay. So by what date do you want to replace this income given what we just said? And make it doable, but also a bit of a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say by September 10th?
Ooh, September 10th. All right, let's say it. September 10th.
Okay. Good. So that would be the game that you're playing. The game you're playing is X number of people enrolled in my course by September 10th.
All right.
Now, the other thing you want to do once you get off this call is you want to make a list of the things that you need to do, the things you don't know right now, and the things you need to do in order to make this live by September 10th.
Mm-hmm.
So a good examples could be, I'm going to rename the course or I'm going to give it a tagline. I'm going to make this course written and upload it to a platform where they can access it. Mm-hmm. I am going to create a community like a Facebook group or a Slack group or something like that where we can communicate. I'm going to set it up in PayPal. So I need to set up PayPal or whatever so that they can pay me. Mm-hmm. I need to come up with a refund policy or a guarantee or something like that. Mm-hmm. I need to come up with how I'm going to describe the course or the bullet points. You'll notice, like on our podcast, we've always got bullet points of whatever we covered in the. You notice that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe you have a list of bullet points that this is what you'll get from doing the course. And remember to make those benefits more tangible. So hard topic than soft topic.
Right.
And you've probably seen that because you watched some marketing, so you've seen that. I'm not talking to somebody who hasn't. Since you've seen Smart Passive Income, I know you've probably seen that before. So does that make sense? So you're making a list of things that you need to put in place in order for you to win this game.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, like, you can write a very simple list. What do I know? And what do I not know? Like, what do I feel like I know right now? What do I feel like I not know? Because anything you don't know will stop you from winning your game. So just you have to go and figure out how to know it. If you don't know it, then go know it. And tap into your resources. If there's something that you don't know, feel free to come into like Classical Cats and ask there. If you have other marketing buddies and friends and whatever who can help you, then reach out to them as well. Hey, I want to let you know, like, oh, that's another thing. Tell people that you're doing this, people who support you. Maybe you have, tell your husband, obviously. Tell people, because until you start talking about it and saying it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. The more you talk about it, the more alive it becomes. It lives in every conversation you have about it. Okay.
Yep.
Questions about that?
Not about that. That all makes sense, I guess. What do you think?
I hear
at
a
this
question
point,
in your voice.
well, do you think at this point, like, it's something that needs like an independent sales page, or is it something that I could just direct them to like a payment page or something?
I wouldn't even. I mean, you can do a payment page, but I don't think it needs one at all. I would sell this on the phone, over the phone. And I would say, that have people go, oh my gosh, yes, and then send them a PayPal invoice and they can pay it, and let them know, listen, as soon as you pay your invoice, you're going to get access to, this. So I would give them something right at the front, because I know it's not going to start till say September 10th, or if you want to start it now, you can start it now, because I realize it's already done. If you want to get them in right away, put them in right away. Like you can put it into a course platform. And so you can, create modules or whatever, or create chapters or whatever you want to call it. And if they can get access right away, toss them on in there. If you want to wait for everybody to start together on September 10th, give them a little bonus to start off with, like a little bone that they can chew on until they get the meal. That's what I would do. But I think you can sell this straight over the phone, because it's going to be people sell this straight over the phone, get them, enrolled, and such that when you send them an invoice, they pay for it.
Okay, so then now you're selling it, you're doing the discovery call, and then at the end of it, you're like, hey, if you want to go deeper, like, I have this course, would you be interested? Like, how do you kind of navigate that? Yep,
it's a sales call. And so, and you let them know at the front, I've got something that I think might be ideal for you. I've got an offer right now that might be ideal for you. I don't know for sure if it's ideal for you. So I'd love to get on a call with you and find out kind of where you are, talk to you about it, because you have to look and see whether or not it's a fit for them. If you know your course, listen, people that I have gotten on the phone with to do consulting, coaching, all the different things I've done, I don't sell everybody. Sometimes I get on the phone with somebody and it's not a fit. They're, for whatever reason, whatever the offer is I have or whatever, it's just not a fit. And I'll say, you know what, I'm not the right person for you, but the right person for you is over here. Or, this is not something I can help you with, but I know somebody who can, that sort of thing. So not everybody you talk to is going to be a candidate. They have to want something more than what they have now in their music career. That's one criteria. That's another thing I would do too, is you can list out the criteria of somebody who would be perfect for this course. And you can listen for that on the call.
Then how do you approach them? Because this is something that's challenging to me. It's like you're approaching them with both of you knowing that you're trying to pitch something, or you're kind of like getting to know them, and at the end you're like, okay, like I just wanted to, like, I want to let you know.
Well, you already know them, right? You're going to contact people. Yeah, so the getting to know them part is taken away. So they already know, like, and trust you. That's why I'm asking you to go to people you already know, or really close referrals, because you want that to be, like, that's important. The know, like, trust thing, so there's no pressure. And how you take the pressure off at the front of the call is you say, listen, I got on this call with the intention of seeing whether or not what I have to offer is a fit for you. It may or may not be. So on this call, we'll decide together whether or not it's right for you. And if it's not, that's cool.
Okay.
So you take the pressure off right at the front of the call. So then they can just be in the call with you and talk to you.
Okay.
Have an honest conversation about their career, what they want, what their goals are, what they care about, what they feel like they're lacking or missing, what they're disappointed about. That's what a discovery call really is. Find out where they are.
That makes sense.
And then if it sounds like a fit, okay, you know what? It sounds like I might have something for you. Let me tell you about it. Okay. And we can look and see whether it's right for you. And they're going to go, okay. Because when you say we can look and see, now it's you and I are looking at it together, not I'm trying to pitch you something.
Right. Which nobody likes.
That's right. So it's a language thing. It's all in your language. Okay. So let's look and see. This might be a fit. This might not be, but let's have a look. Are you open to that? Yes, I'm open to that. Awesome. And then you can go right into the, right? So this is sort of a high level sales call that I'm telling you about now, but it gives you an idea. I mean, this is really how it works. Do you have questions about that?
It's not about the how. I mean, I get it. It's yeah, maybe it's just like that hang up around like sales calling it that.
And by the way, this is actually, thank you for saying that, because this is actually why you haven't executed on this yet. Because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, originally my plan was kind of like to do like I'm sure you've seen like these kind of 3-part video series
Sure.
And do that whole process.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
So first of all, do you know how much time it takes to put one of those together?
A ton.
Yeah. Do you know how long? About?
No, not exactly, but just from what I've done as far as like video and like podcast stuff, it's a lot of production work.
Right. So I want to ask you, would you be willing, if you knew it was going to take you 100 hours to do all of that you're talking about, creating a course, video series, webinar, email sequences, autoresponder, which I know all this stuff. I've been an online marketer since forever. Okay. So if I told you to put in 100 hours, but you could get this done, what I'm talking about, in 15, which would you choose?
Well, 15.
Okay, good. Any other questions?
No, it's just that it's perfect actually, because it's just like you don't know what you don't know until so like I haven't come across this way of doing it, but it fit, like it's perfect.
I know, right?
For where it is right now.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, what's great about it is you're selling to people you already know, and they like you, they trust you. Everyone's going to want to get on the phone with you. Who wouldn't? And so they get on the phone with you, you talk to them, you talk about to them about what they care about, you make an invitation because there's a fit. You let them know there's a fit. You say, hey, let's have a look at this. They go, oh, okay. You walk them through it, and they go, wow, that would be just so amazing. So by the end of it, for only 100, at the end of the 5 weeks, you're going to have this, 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 and this. Is that something you're interested in? Yes, totally. Okay, great. It's $150.
Yeah, listen.
You want to get started?
Can I interrupt for a second? So I get where Amanda's coming from with the sales thing. Sales calls are hard, but two things. Number one, you know how many times you've been on a podcast interview, right, with people, and generally, everyone, especially in this day and age when all we have is our phones, and we can text and we can email and we can Facebook message, and we can do everything possible not to talk to somebody, and we sort of do that on purpose every day. But then haven't you had the experience of getting on a podcast episode with someone and having a great conversation and going, oh my God, I love talking to people. Like, it's really great. Yeah. You connected with somebody. So, and then I have another example. A while back, it was a few years ago, I was having some really hard time with parenting. And I ended up on a sales call with a woman who had a solution for me. And let me tell you, she listened, she understood what I was going through, and she validated me. And I was ready to dump my wallet into her bank account because I had a problem that I needed a solution for. And I didn't know anybody who could do it. And I'd already looked in books. I'd read lots and lots of parenting books, lots of websites, and I needed personal interaction. And what it was a course with calls, weekly calls, like group calls and things like that. And it was really, really something that I needed at that time. And I had zero problems with paying for it at all. In fact, I thought it was too cheap eventually when while I was experiencing it. I was happy that it was affordable and that I could, and what I was getting for it, like for that problem. And when people have a career issue, if they have something that's stopping them in their career, this is livelihood we're talking about.
And let's be clear, and let's also be clear that Tracy also, she's forgetting probably because she put it into the very, 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 very bottom of the basement of the foundation of her house, that she sold for Audition X Factor. Mm-hmm. She got on sales calls and she did Audition X Factor, same exact deal.
Yeah, and I found that when I got on these calls, at first I was intimidated by that because of the fact that it was a sales call. Mm-hmm. But when I started talking to people about the problem that I was going to give them the solution for, they were all ears.
They were all in.
And the parents were like, dude, I don't want to see my kid upset anymore about this. Every time I told them the price, there was never an eyelash batted.
Which actually means the price was too low, by the way, but I digress. Keep
right,
going.
exactly. But
if you don't get some no's, the price is too low. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And parents are used to paying a lot of.
It's not bad. I'm just making a point that if 10 out of 10 people you talk to are saying yes, then the price is too low. Just understand that. That's just the way it is in sales.
Good to know.
Okay. You're not supposed to be selling 100% of people you talk to. You're supposed to be selling around 50% of people you talk to. That means your price is high enough.
Which makes the sales calls harder,
That's
I would
correct.
think. Right. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is the point. The point is to raise your skill level, get better clients for more money, and less of them. That's really the goal. But I'm not going to get, that's advanced sales. We won't get into that right now, but you get where Tracy's going, right? You get that. Yeah. It's a conversation with someone that, you actually care about it, Yeah. They get to have a conversation with you that they haven't had with anyone else, or they don't get to have with anyone else. Imagine if someone had been willing to have that conversation with you back when you were spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first place
I would have
we
been
go,
like, thank God.
Right. And the first place we go, I think, just in general, people who aren't accustomed to doing sales or being on a sales call, the first place we go is someone gives you an unwanted cold call when you're in the middle of dinner and they're trying to sell you like an upgrade on your cable, and you're like, now's not a good time. Screw off. It's like, that's not what this is. This is an agreement with somebody who you've determined that it's going to be a call about something they're concerned about. It's not a cold call, and it's a welcomed call.
Yeah, they know what they're getting totally on the phone different. For.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know.
So then it's kind of like when I'm reaching out to them, like, hey, I have this, this course that I've developed. I would really like to talk to you.
I would actually not say, I wouldn't go that way. I would say, hey, Karen, I'm just using a first name here on email. I would, I would do subject line, idea for you. Mm-hmm. Have that be so, and if somebody wrote me that, I'd open it. So again, the purpose of the subject line is to get them to open it. The other thing will get them to open it is your name in the from category, right? Mm-hmm. And then I would say, hey, Karen, hope you're doing really well. Haven't talked in a while or whatever. So have some kind of a opening that makes sense for whoever you're writing to. I'm reaching out to you because I know that, a while back you and I were talking about XYZ, and you were kind of, up and down on XYZ topics, blah, blah, blah. I have something that might be interesting for you. I'm not sure if it's a fit, but I'd love it if you and I can get on a call and just have a conversation and we can see. It'd take about a half an hour of your time. Really looking forward to connecting with you. Please reply with some dates and times that might work for you. Like I said, 30 minutes is plenty. Look forward to speaking with you. And she knows you. You know what I mean? Something like that. Just something very casual. And again, Tracy can send you this recording so you can hear what I just said, because I don't even know what I just said. And that's how that would be the approach. And then you get on the call. So she already knows. You say, I've got something interesting for you. She already knows there's going to be some offer involved, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And then when you get on the call.
Yeah. And then we get on the call. It's like, hey, Karen, so great to talk with you. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. Do your whole, how's the weather? How's the dog? Blah, blah, blah. And then, but make that short and then go, okay, well, listen, I just want to let you know the intention of this call, which is, first of all, I just want to find out what's going on in your career right now. I know last time we talked XYZ, so you're sort of recapping the email. And then, and by the way, I have something that might be interesting for you, but I don't actually know. So I'd like to know where you are right now. And it may or may not make sense for you, but if it does, I'll bring it up at the end, and then we can decide whether or not it's right for you. Okay, do you have any questions about that? She's going to say no. Okay, great, let's go. And then you can start talking to her. She can tell you about what's going on with her in her career. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to know.
It's just very, I love having conversations with people, and I love talking to them about what they want and their goals and, all the different things that they want to do. And I love to help them find a way to get that. It's my favorite thing to do. And so I really have come to enjoy these calls. And I know for sure that the more you do them, the more you will also love to do it. Because that's what you decided to be, as a problem solver for people.
Yeah. Well, that's so funny, because just earlier this morning, I was about to send that exact same message, not with like the, I have something for you, but that exact same message just to people who I know, like friends of mine, just to see what their dreams are and like where they are and all that stuff. Exactly that same thing.
Okay, good. And so even better is now you have a potential offer. So all you're doing is positioning that email a little bit differently, sending it off to them, and now you've got purpose in those calls. It's not just, hey, we're going to talk and see how you are, but I might have something interesting. I may or may not. We don't know. But at least we can, right? That would be great. And by the way, somebody sent me an email yesterday and did this all wrong. I'm just going to read it to you. I'm serious. They're idiots. They should know better. Let me just find it real quick. It drove me nuts. Hold on one sec. So she sent me an email. It's a former client, actually. I was really surprised that she did it. Her subject line was, "Do you have about 20 minutes to talk next week?" ? Hope all's going well for you. I wanted to let you know that I was introduced to this amazing guy, and he got me thinking about you. I'm wondering if you'd be available for a call any day next week between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern, so you can meet this guy. He retired the first time at age 30, has twice been on The Apprentice, and is listed on Success Magazine. He's from here, just coming out of retirement, and is expanding his global network, including Mexico. And I wanted you to have the details before you miss the opportunity. Can I tell you how fast I replied and said, no thanks? Because that is not, do you get it? That is not, first of all, she should know better than to send me an email like that. There's no way I would be impressed. I'm not impressed by people's resumes at all. So for her to say he retired by the age of 30, he's twice been on The Apprentice and listed in Success Magazine. If I had a teddy bear, I would do a video and it would show me yawning and taking a nap. I could care less. Don't give me your freaking resume. And listen, she knows that I'm a person of substance. I'm not impressed by anything. Just try me. I'm not impressed by anything. And so what impresses me is authenticity. That's what impresses me. And so she totally missed the mark, but she could have nailed it with this opening. She could have nailed it. Hey, Eileen, this guy has made a difference in the lives of at least 45 people in the state of Massachusetts. He's single-handedly if she would have given me the difference he's made, I might have gotten on a call with her. Mm-hmm. You get that? Mm-hmm. You need to recognize what people respond to. And I promise you, it's not a resume. It's not credentials. It's none of those things. I'm not the only person. You use the word opportunity with me and I'm out. You use the word, I've got something interesting for you. And I'm like, what's that? Right? My little puppy ears go up. What's that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you really got to get it. Like, there's language that human beings respond to, and I promise you it's not, I had this amazing opportunity and I don't want you to miss it.
Right. No, to me that's like car salesman turn around.
That's what you hate. So what you hate about sales is language and how the approach. That's what you hate. And that's why I'm trying to show this to you. This person is a great person, by the way. Like, I love this person, but she did this all wrong. And believe me, she's going to get an email today clobbering her for the mistake she made yesterday. And I'm going to line item for her how she could have won me over. Because you know why?
Can you show me that email later?
Absolutely. Because, and I haven't written it yet because I have other things to do. But do you get what I'm saying? It's like you have to understand that what you hate isn't sales. What you hate is how people approach it and the language they use. That's what you hate.
That's exactly right. Yeah, Ramit Sethi does that, like, sales perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his stuff is so long to read, but I find myself always reading it, like reading it to the end. I'm like, this is good.
I know, right? But they've managed to hook you in a way in language that you like to hear. So be that person. You don't need to be, I'm not the salesperson nobody wants to talk to. I'm the salesperson everybody wants to talk to. They just don't think I'm a salesperson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I am, through and through. I am. I will convince you. But I'm going to do it in a way that you wanted to be convinced.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you get all that? Can you get on that game?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just a shift, like a mindset shift on just how to approach it like a person, but also like, with that intention at the same time.
Exactly. It's all about your intention and the language you use. Now, question. Are you willing to update us in the group Classical Cats and tell us how you're doing?
All right. Yep. You're going to hold me to it.
Well, and I can always private message you. I mean, I can show up in Messenger if you don't show up in the group. So either way, I'll be in the filtered request. The more
filtered requests. Eileen's mug is showing up in every little message box you've got. What's going on?
That's right. And by the way, Tracy, I'm sure you might have had something to add during this whole thing, but is there anything you want to say? I know you added about the sales conversations earlier. Is there anything else?
No, that was it. I think there could be a part 2 here because back like a while ago, I was going to ask you about something else, but it's totally unrelated. It was related to your retreat idea, but that might be a part 2 at some point.
I think so too. And by the way, I think it's great that you want to do retreats. It sounds to me like this is what's on the table now. What I always like to deal with is what's on the table now.
Yeah.
Because this can replace your flute teacher income.
Yeah, that would be exactly what I want.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, incredible.
And why not walk into the fall that way?
Yeah.
I mean, really, why not? That's what I would love to see you do something you want to do walking into the fall. There's no reason for you to wait until next year. There's no reason for you to wait until December. You don't have to wait.
Right.
I've been waiting for a while, so.
Okay. And how long have you been waiting about?
I created this in the fall, like last fall. And then I launched the podcast after that. So like my 2 big goals, like last year. So I started listening to like Smart Passive Income at like at the end of last spring, like May-ish.
Okay.
So I'm getting all these ideas, and then April, May, and then I spent the summer like building a website I don't use now, but it was good to get it started and rolling. And then I was like, okay, like this is the thing I wanted to do. I wanted to have this course. This was the first thing.
Okay, great.
So I made it. So I created. I spent like all of the extra hours that I was not teaching. Like I was on the laptop. I was content creating. And then I was like, okay, good. Now from everything that I had read and like seen, it's like, okay, well, launch it to your audience. I'm like, well, I don't have an audience. I don't have an email list. I don't have all the stuff that they say that you're supposed to have. And so I was like,
that's okay.
Okay. So then
this is how most people start, by the way I'm telling you to start. This is how most people start in self-employment.
Which is
what we were just creating something, getting on the phone with people they know and selling it.
Gotcha.
This is how most people started.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't know that. So I was like, I wanted to start a podcast anyway. And I was like, okay, now it's time to launch my pod. At the end of the creation, that's when I took my 3 people through it because I wanted to test it out. I wanted to see like, okay, is it going to give the results that I'm saying that it's going to give?
Now you've done that. Yeah. Now it's time for you to sell it.
Yeah.
You girl. Good. Well, good. Then so we got a game.
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
Okay.
We're in. Game.
I'm in.
Game on. All right, awesome.
Well, all right, so you'll keep us posted.
Please report to us in the group, and if you have any questions or any like where are you stuck or whatever, please tell us because that's what this is all about. This is what we do. Okay.
Got it.
All right, thanks for joining us today, Amanda. This was really, really fun.
Thank you. Thanks for coaching me through this. This is exactly what I needed.
You're
Awesome.
welcome. Happy to do it. It was a thrill.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening today. Hey, listen, I have a huge favor to ask you, and it will only take a few seconds. If you like this show, one way that you can let us know is by writing a review on iTunes and subscribing to the podcast. Writing a review will help other people to find the podcast and help us immensely. It will only take a few minutes. Just head over to iTunes and search for Crushing Classical. There, you can write a review and click subscribe. Thanks again.